A very good evening to one and all present here. Today, I, Monica Gulia, on behalf of Geetaratan International Business School, welcome you all for EMDP on HR metrics and analytics. Geetaratan International Business School was established in the year 2004. GIBS is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi, and is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, Ministry of HRD, and Government of India for technical courses, and Bar Council of India for law courses. The institute is accredited as Category A by National Assessment and Accreditation Council and assessed as Category A+ by State Fee Regulatory Committee, which is a fee committee of Government of NCT of Delhi, and rated highest grading A by Joint Inspection Committee of Government of NCT of Delhi and GGS IPU. So the institute has been rated grade A by Academic Audit Cell of GGS IP University consecutively from past 5 years. GIBS has been ranked number 2 by Times B School Survey 2021. The institute conducts postgraduate courses of MBA first and second shift, MBA International Business, and undergraduate program of BBA first and second shift, BBA LLB, and BA LLB. Human resource is a people-oriented function, and HR analytics measures how investment in people can be fruitful for the organizations. HR analytics is revolutionizing the HR practices, and this development has created a huge opportunity for HR professionals to learn the nuances of this field. The purpose of this program is to familiarize the participants with this ever-expanding field and its basic assumptions, as well as to facilitate the development of skills for conceptualizing, managing, and measuring HR operations using HR metrics and analytics. So the basic objectives of this program are to sensitize participants about human resource analytics, its scope, importance, and equip them with the knowledge of the techniques and tools of HR analytics along with their applications. Another objective is to identify, measure, appropriate HR metrics to find solutions to business problems and to analyze qualitative and quantitative HR data. Last but not the least, we are also focusing on making suggestions for future people management decisions based on the analytics and ensuring optimum use of investments in human assets. So in order to fulfill these objectives, we have our eminent speakers with us, Mr. Manish Kujur and Professor Anup Ghosh. Mr. Manish Kujur is an accomplished human resource professional who is having broad-based 14 plus years of expertise in HR portfolio encompassing of business, strategic and people HR, along with a strong acumen in talent acquisition, recruitment lifecycle, performance management, adroit in collaborating and creating business solutions with an excellent track record of spearheading all activities pertaining to recruitment cycle, ATS, employee engagement, competency mapping, HR metrics, salary benchmarking, and onboarding programs. Mr. Kujur has indigenous experience in consistently improving the existing HR practices and executing new best practices and ideas to enhance the recruitment process and employer branding strategies. He is an expert in designing and executing strategies that improve workforce planning, strong acumen in ensuring adherence to HRIS recruitment reports. So we are privileged to have you here with us, sir. Now, without taking much of your time, I would like to request our speaker to take this session forward. Sir, please.
Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for having me here this evening. All right. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Good evening, sir.
All right, let me just share my screen and then probably we can proceed further. Let me know if you're all able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so I would like to talk about the HR analytics. So before we get into the deeper understanding about the HR analytics, I would like to talk about what exactly the analytics, because that is something where we need to understand as a resource before we get into the HR analytics. Because when we talk about analytics, people mostly think about the data, right? From the technical side of the business. Obviously, it has got all the technical skills, but other than that, it has many things to do with the in HR. So do we think it is all about numbers? The first thing when we talk about analytics, people think that it is all about data or numbers that we are talking about, be it marketing numbers, be it a sales number, or any from the digital marketing perspective, it could be the marketing campaigns that we are doing online through various social media networking sites or the email campaigns, YouTube videos. When it comes to the HR, we only talk about maybe the data, the employee strength we have. And then we can talk about, we think about the benefits that we provide to the employees. So my question here is it about just creating a dashboard? Because most of the people, they think that just creating the dashboard, gathering the data and creating the dashboard is all about analytics. But I would like to mention that analytics is way beyond that. So first thing, analytics is all about logic and reasoning, because it is not about capturing data or creating dashboard. Most of the people in the organization, in HR fraternity or any other fraternity, basically in data and insight for fraternity. So they gather the data and they create the dashboard, but that is beyond that, about putting some logic and reasoning behind that data that we are capturing. So that is one thing about the analytics. Data could be anything, as I mentioned, that could be HR data, sales data, marketing data, any financial data, depending upon the business model. And it is about using the past data to predict the future. Having said that, when we get into the data, when we maintain the data, and we start analyzing the data that we have captured in our dashboard, so it helps us. Normally what we do, normally we capture the past data, right? From the HR perspective, it could be we're capturing the employee strength, leave and absenteeism, right? The benefits from comp and ben perspective, right? And we are also talking about gender diversity. But that is way beyond that, right? So I'll be capturing in further slides how we can do it, how we can implement, and what is the role of HR into analytics actually, right? So basically, we're gathering the past data, and then we are predicting the future, doing analysis, and that we can call it like predictive analysis, right? So the third point I would like to mention out here. So analytics, it requires to use of carefully constructed metrics. So we define certain metrics in order to give the intelligence to the business. And basis that, we have to maintain the constructive metrics. So I've seen that many HR folks, people from the HR fraternity, basically they capture all the details about the employees, because this is all about, we're talking about HR analytics. So I would talk more from HR context. So gathering the data, creating a dashboard that in many organizations, be it in Excel. So majority of the organizations they're maintaining the data in Excel, MS Excel, And then if they have any ERP platform, or maybe they're using some SaaS-based platform or a BI platform, but in predominantly majority of the organization, they are capturing the data in Excel. So they're just creating the dashboard and highlighting few metrics like gender deviation, male-female ratio. That is one common thing I've seen in HR fraternity. So that's why I would like to mention out here. And attrition rate, right? So what sort of inferences that would like to highlight, because it has to do with the business. And when we talk about all these metrics, be it, let's say, absenteeism. So any HR BP or any HR operations person, or maybe somebody who is responsible for creating the dashboard, maintaining the data from HR perspective for the organization, and the question is, what sort of insight we would like to give it to the business. The other aspect of it would be HR is no more a back-end job nowadays, right? It has been evolved with the time, and technicalities has been involved in HR fraternity. So presenting the data to the business so that it will help the business to grow. That is the main purpose of HR analytics, giving the insight, fruitful insight. So we need to think from the business perspective, what exactly the business is looking for. When I say business, it doesn't mean that the higher leadership, right? Business means the operations, the running that is running within the organization. It is an organization as a whole, wherein we talk about giving insight. So I'll take one example wherein we talk about attrition rate, right? It's quite common in various organizations. So let's say if you're saying 14% attrition this year, or maybe last year it was 10%, current year that's 14%. So what sort of insight do we want to give to the business? It is just a number, right? So mostly what we do, I've seen that when we are representing it to the business, we're just saying, okay, fine, this year only 14% in attrition that has happened. So what exactly you want to convey? Are we conveying the number, or are we giving the insight to the business so that senior leadership, senior management can take the decision basis the data that you're providing? So this is the criticality of HR analytics. So I'll talk about metrics and business intelligence. So we are talking about capturing the metrics, right? And that KPIs that we are capturing in our dashboard, HR dashboards. So what does it mean, right? So it means like conveying a meaningful insight, right? The data that we are capturing in our database, it should give a meaningful insight to the business in a given context, right? Be it attrition, be it leave and absenteeism, right? Attendance, leave and attendance, right? Comp and ben, employee engagement. So these are just common thing in the organization. So that should be meaningful. So for each and every, so the question comes in that, okay, fine, how do I need to define the metrics for my particular organization? Because whenever we are capturing the data and creating the dashboard, it always comes in my mind that, okay, fine, what sort of metrics am I going to capture that will be fruitful for the business, that will give insight to the business? So that is basis the business model and the industry where we are. Maybe if we are downloading it from any internet, because nowadays a lot of sources are available over internet, and we just download Excel format, dashboard format, and we try to put in all the internal data and try to create the dashboard, right? So that is not the right way to do it. It's the wrong way for creating the dashboard and presenting the metrics to the business. Understanding the business is more critical. What is the vision of the organization? What is the vision of the management in the organization, be it a marketing industry, consumer durable, retail, financial institution, financial industries, banking sector. So that varies from business to business. So understanding the business model is one of the important things that we have to take care once we create the dashboard and trying to capture the metrics. There are common metrics across the industry that we are capturing. Like, as I mentioned, that gender diversity, because we are focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the organization at the global level as well. In our organization as well, we are capturing it, right? So that is one thing that obviously business is looking for. Attrition, that is the biggest challenge nowadays. And it has been the biggest challenge for many of the organizations, most of the organization, I would say. So attrition, that is one thing, right? And then comp and ben, obviously, that would be the one thing that we have to capture. Now, how we can analyze, how we can transform ourselves into the HR analytics. Because I'll give you some example that as you can see out here, the data, we're talking about the data. There's a difference between data, metrics, and the analytics. So I've quoted some examples so that you'll be able to understand what is the difference between these three terminologies. So data, when we talk about, okay, fine, annual employee turnover rate is 14%. That is the data that we're capturing. Basis, like every month, people are leaving and joining in, right? And we calculate that. That is the data. So that is not a metrics, right? That is the data and that we present to the business. So employee turnover rate is 14%. And metrics would be 4% rise in attrition on YOY basis, year on year, 4%, right? Earlier it was, so the great example would be last year it was, I'll give you the tentative number, right? Let's say during the pandemic, attrition rate was quite low because people were losing their jobs, right? Companies were laying off employees. So the voluntary attrition that was low. So let's say last year it was 10%, and because of the volatile market and because of the job market, people started looking out for job and they're getting multiple offers and then joining in here and there, right? So 4% rise in the attrition. So that is the metrics that we have to capture out here from the attrition perspective. And what would be the analytics? The reason behind it is not always about the money, right? So in our organization also, when the people who are involved into taking the exit interviews and stage interviews, we try to find out the information from the employees, right? What is the exact reason? Most of the people, they think during the interview as well, I've encountered that people are mentioning better opportunity. What do you mean by better opportunity, right? It could be like, maybe it's a monetary. It varies from person to person. For somebody, it could be a monetary benefit. For somebody, it could be the role enhancement, maybe the promotion, the role, the organization. So that is something comes as an analytics wherein the HR takes part. That is the role of HR, wherein we give insight to the management, to the business. Okay, these are the reasons. Okay, fine, 14% turnover rate, 4% rise in attrition on YOY basis, year on year basis, and 2% incremental attrition due to, I've given, it's a rough, just for an example, just to make you understand that due to weak people managers, right? Maybe the team manager they aligned with, they are not satisfied with their team manager. That is one of the reasons. It is not, as I said, that it is not always about money. It is about majority of the time when I spoke to our ex-employees and the people who are leaving the organization, it is not always about money. It's not always about monetary growth. So having said that, these are the difference. So when we capture the data and then we try to get the insight from that data and analyze it and pass it on to the business. So this is the role would be of HR in HR analytics. So when we are capturing the data and we are maintaining our database, and then we are capturing the different metrics, so we always need to think about what sort of information that we are looking at that is benefit for the business. What sort of insight that we as an HR going to give to the business that will benefit the business. Maybe they can take the decision basis, right? Attrition rate is going high and there's certain thing came up. So the one example is mentioned here that weak people management. Maybe the organization will focus on the managerial training, leadership training for all these people manager roles, right? So people manager roles doesn't mean that only managers, senior managers, but it starts from the team lead, wherein people have a particular person has like 2 or 3 people there. Even if one reportee is under that particular person, that falls under people manager umbrella, right? So that is the insight wherein we help business to decide what sort of action they have to take. So data mining process that has been defined. So we also mining the process. We also need to get into the process, the SOPs that is defined in the particular process, and then it gives a business intelligence. We create the report and we show it to the business. We give the insight. I'll take one example because that will be quite easier because mostly we have seen that this analytics word that came basically in the technical role wherein people work in data and insight sort of role, right? And then they work on XYZ data, like financial data, sales, marketing data, or campaign data, and they are interacting with the client, right? So their role is, in order to simplify that, their role is not only creating the dashboard and sending the report to the to the client, but also giving insight, what sort of insight that they want to give to the client so that it will help the client to increase their profitability. Maybe they're doing some sort of social media campaign and what campaign failed. Just for an example, campaign failed, right? So what was the reason? Maybe the target audience was not right. That is the insight that a an insight person has to give to the client. Maybe the channel they used to reach out to their target audience, that was not right. Maybe they chose the wrong channel, a wrong medium to reach out to the target customers. These are the small examples we can correlate it. Something similar to what in HR fraternity, that whatever we are capturing, what is the reason behind it? Reason behind attrition. And also, majority of the people, I spoke to the people in my network, and then I always ask, like, okay, fine, you are creating the dashboard, you are capturing the data, gender deviation. What sort of insight do you want to give it to the management in your organization? It is just that 70% male, 30% female, or maybe 60% male and 40% female. What management will do? I mean, it's all about data. Okay, fine. We have gender diversity, 60% male and 40% female. What does it mean? Does it give any insight to the business if we convey the data like this? No, never. That is no use of for the business. There is no use of such information to the business. Okay, fine, we do have 60% male employees in our organization and 40% female employees. There is no use of that data for the business. But when you say that, okay, fine, 60% males are there, but the 40% females are there. How many females are there at the leadership role? And the people, their diversity, maybe what is the percentage of working mother, right? And how many female employees are there at the leadership role? How many males are there at the leadership role? How many executioners are there? This sort of insight, so that we can, that is the actual real way of working on the diversity model. So we make mistakes while conveying the data to the business, but it has to come through some sort of insight, right? So we have to change it. As I said in the beginning, that HR is evolving with the time, right? And we are getting technical. It's no more a back-end job, right? So the other thing, how we gonna measure all these things? So from the HR perspective, these are the functions, I would say, the domains within the HR functions. So recruitment is quite famous, right? Because that is close to the business. And so that is one thing. Employee engagement. So most of the people are aware when we talk about recruitment, okay, fine, what sort of metrics that we need to capture when we're talking about the recruitment or TA function, right? So recruitment cost, the quality of recruitment, joining time, offer versus joining, and then how many candidates aligned for a particular, against a particular position, right? We talk about the cost benefits. We talk about the source mix, right? Effective source mix for a particular position. And then employee engagement. Now the question would be, how are we going to measure the employee engagement, right? The old school way was like sending the ESAT survey and then getting in, capturing the data, and then trying to give some insight to the business. But I would like to highlight few metrics that we can capture, because these all metrics we are capturing here in our organization, which is quite beneficial for the management to take decision. So happiness is one metrics that we are capturing under employee engagement, and then relationship with peers, because people work in a team, and then relationship with the manager. Are they acting as an ambassador in the organization? Are they healthy? So these sort of metrics we are capturing. So we do have a platform, internal platform out here in the organization, and it throws anonymous survey every fortnight. So we get the data and all these questions that mentioned there in the platform. It is being tagged with each and every metrics that really helps us to get the insight what is happening on the floor. So even if when we are changing the policies, any change in the organization, change management that happens, maybe a promotion, increment, policy changes, any policy, HR policies, right? So we get regular insight from that data, which really helps the management. Okay, what is happening? Because nowadays everyone is working virtually. It's quite difficult to meet people one-on-one, right? We are meeting people virtually. So connects are quite low. I mean, I'm not talking about the virtual connect that is happening in various organizations. We are connecting with our teams, with our employees on a regular basis. But in most of the connects, they don't want to share the actual insight, right? How they are feeling, how they're working from home, what are the problems they are facing while working from home, while working remotely, right? So this platform helps us. And so this is how, like, these are the metrics we can always capture. And even if you don't have the platform, I would say you can create on MS Forms and Google Forms. If MS Form, that is quite similar, right? You can anonymously throw the survey and then try to get the data from the employees, right? And you can get into the detail and try to analyze the data, what is happening, that will, and then sharing it with the business. This has happened, and this is our insight. And when we talk about comp and ben, so obviously level-wise salary, because each and every organization has different levels, wherein entry level, mid level, managerial levels are there, leadership teams are there, and then what are the salaries? Because I've seen that it's not standardized in the organization wherein it comes to hiring. Let's say at the same level, we have hired somebody at 7 lakh, or maybe some other candidate at 8, 9 lakh, or 10 lakh. So it varies, right? So that also gives that sort of, if you're not capturing, if you start capturing that sort of data, so obviously that will help the management to take decision. So when it comes to uh, salary revision or salary rush, giving somebody an increment if somebody is doing good, so that data will help the management, right? Other than that, then the benefits that the benefits are there in the organization that falls under the benefits. Could be anything: insurance benefit, giving cab facilities. So what are the costs involved? So there are other functions. So for some data, obviously we are dependent on the other functions, maybe finance, because all the monetary things that falls under finance domain. So we can all closely work with the finance department to get all these sort of information, that how much we are spending on the different benefits. Insurance, there are various insurance premiums are there that we are offering benefits to the internal employees. Maybe the bonus that we pay to in our internal employees, right? So how much we are spending money as an organization, right? So that also helps the business and the senior management to take the decision on that. And then the overheads, the salaries, revenue versus salaries, the overheads are there. So this is how, because as an organization, the business work towards the profitability, right, for the profit margin and the revenue realization and basis that they work on. So that data is quite important from the business perspective. So whenever they pitch in for the new business, or maybe for the existing business, the rate has to be revised, existing rates that they are billing it to the client, or maybe the service they are offering. So that is, they take the decision basis that data that we are sharing with the management for under comp and ben. And then performance management, that is also identifying the hypos, low performers, and high potential within the organization, the rating of 3, 4, 2, and then basis that the decision like their training programs, their growth path within the organization, and then putting in them into PIPs, performance improvement plans. That all sort of decisions can be taken basis the data that we present, right? And then workforce, obviously, we talked about the gender deviation, diversity, right? And then basis the experience bracket, and how many females are there at the leadership. The experience bracket, like 0 to 3 years. Normally we capture 0 to 3 years, and then 3 to 5 years, and then 5 to 8 years. And we also need to decide that, okay, fine, how many people are there actually at the production level, at the executional level. Let's say it's a funnel actually, right? So top would be like one leadership is there, under a leadership there would be 2, 3 business leads, and then senior managers, then managers, leads, something like that, right? So we need to see layer by layer. Okay, fine. Let's say the managerial level is quite high. The number of people at the team manager level is quite higher than the people there at the executional level, or the people actually at the production level. So that is an alarming situation for the business. So when we talk about workforce planning and capturing all these details, these sort of details are quite insightful for the business. Similarly, for the learning and development, so training time, because each and every organization are focusing on the training internal employees, right? So participation rates, and then calculating the ROI basis the training that has been delivered to the employees, right? Then ongoing skill assessment. So what happened when training, somebody underwent the training program, and how they're going to calculate the ROI. So all these information, somebody who's taking care of learning and development has to take care. Or also the completion rate, because each and every, I believe each and every organization has certain target, certain vision about the training, learning and development within the organization. Similarly, so these are the things that we need to keep in mind while we are measuring. And then how are we going to measure? We talked about the metrics, there are multiple metrics, basis the business model. Again, I'm saying it basis the business model because one particular metric we are capturing in a particular business that might not be relevant for some other business, right? So that's why I said that if you're trying to copy it, obviously taking reference from the virtual sources from internet, that is one of the good things, but we always have to think about that if I'm capturing this metrics or a particular metric, is it will it give benefit to the business? How is it beneficial for the business, right? So that might not be relevant for the business where you are in. So that is one thing we need to think about before we start capturing the metrics randomly. So I'll go one example. So basically what I take care when I create the dashboard, when I capture the data, so I basically talk about all these things. So efficiency, we capture that we need to show efficiency. So I've taken an example from the recruitment perspective, because that will be the easiest way to help you understand basically. So efficiency, how we can show it, like cost of hiring, right? Obviously the source mix involved in hiring process, different source mix. Yeah, we are aware that job portals are there. And then we also include a salary of the recruiters. We also include the subscription that we pay to job portals, maybe LinkedIn or Naukri, Monster, IAMJobs, whatever job portal we are using it. And then we also include the cost of a referral program within the organization, how much we are paying to an employee for a particular successful referral or a successful conversion, right? And then hiring partners. So normally what happens, 20% from the entire recruitment cost or budget, 20% we spend on the hiring partners. That varies from business to business. Some, in few of the organization, maybe they have zero budget for 0% budget for the hiring partners. But in our organization, 20%. And then hiring time, that is the efficiency, how much time we took to onboard somebody. So there's a difference. So when we start capturing, so hiring time means the day when you get the requirement from the business you start working on. So it can be bifurcated into 3-4 different stages or parts, I would say. One would be like getting the requirement, requisition date till the closer. So when I say closer, means the time we took to close that position. It includes the interview time, technical operations, and then hiring manager round of interview, and then further offer till joining. So that varies because somebody has 1 month of notice period, somebody has 2 months, 3 months, depending upon their existing notice period. And basis that we show our efficiency in recruitment, but actually how much time we spend on closing one positions. It doesn't include the joining time. So there is a difference. Hiring time would be get the requisition date to the closer date. Joining time would be when you offered somebody and then the person is joining in the organization. And offer per recruiter. Let's say multiple recruiters are there in your organization, and then they're working on a particular positions, maybe 3, 4, 5, whatever positions they're working on, and then how much offer has been made under one recruiter. Similarly, that is one thing, efficiency that we have to show in our dashboard, and then effectiveness. So SLA, obviously that is critical to the business SLA adherence, because we have to follow the SLA, right? Low cost, quality source mix. So there are multiple positions, and at different level, we are aware. I'm capturing it for my organization that, okay, fine, this is a particular role and experience bracket as well. Which source mix would be the best and fastest low cost source mix for a particular position? So whenever I get the requirement, and that is not for the business, sometimes it is not always for the business, it is for the internal team as well, because I show it and I capture it and show it to my internal team, and basis that we make a decision, okay, fine, for a particular role, this is the fastest source mix, and we get the quality candidates from the source mix. Right. So we can go ahead and start working on a particular source mix. So that will help us to close the positions fast. That is again, so we capture all these sort of things that helps us to make the decision whether we have to go through which channel basis the position. So that all details that I capture in my dashboard, and then I discuss with my subordinates and with my teammates that this is for a particular position, we have to go, we have to use. And that's why in the beginning I mentioned that analytics is all about capturing past data and then predicting the future, right? So I've got the requirement, what will the future? So basis my experience, basis the data that I interpret as which would be the fastest source mix. That is how we show the effectiveness, right? And then effort, obviously we also need to show that sometimes we find it quite difficult to close the positions, right? That is a big challenge for a recruiter. I'm into talent acquisition predominantly, so I understand the pain area of recruiters. So we also need to show the effort. I'm not sure that how many of you are mentioning it and showing it to the business, but I'm doing it. The effort that we are putting to close the positions, that also matters. The time a recruiter is spending on like taking interviews, sourcing. So we are capturing screening time, sourcing time, right? And how many interviews aligned, how many people raised to the technical interview, how many cleared the HR round of interview, what happened, and how many further after the HR round of interview, how many cleared the technical round of interview, how much time it took, right? What was the feedback from the technical interviewer, and then further after technical round, then how many reached to the operations round or business round, or you can say the hiring manager round, and how many the numbers of offers that we made. So if we start capturing, so that will also help, because we're putting a lot of effort, and somehow I feel that sometimes we are not able to convey to the business, and they're obviously business will only think about, okay, fine, I've given you a position, I need the resource as soon as possible. So that is a real-time challenge for the people, but we need to show the effort in our dashboard and data that we are capturing. And the impact, how we can measure the impact would be the quality of hire. So the question here would be like, how would we measure the quality of hire? So the practice that we are doing here in our organization is like hiring manager satisfaction survey. See, after each and every we are using EATS, so it has that capability. We, along with the when we schedule the interview with the hiring manager, it throws a questionnaire, a simple 4-5, like rating quality of hires, right? Whether the hiring manager is satisfied, and that also helps me to define the KPI for my team, hiring manager satisfaction rate, right? Because business always focus on the quality of hires, and we also need to focus as an HR, as a HR BP, right? We also need to focus on the quality of hire that we are providing to the business. And this is how we are building the culture, right? And when I say quality of hire, doesn't mean that highly skilled people, right? Culture fitment, behavioral fitment, right? So we also assess in our organization, we also assess the candidate on behavioral and value fitment. So we have certain assessment in place wherein we assess the candidate on behavior and value fitment. And this is help. The impact would be if we hire the quality people, then innovative culture would be there. The high potential, the number of high potential will go up, and business profitability. Obviously, these people will contribute towards the business and the profitability. So there are certain short-term measurement that we can do immediately, and there are long-term. The performance rating. So performance three and above in performance rating, right? If you're doing it monthly or quarterly, half yearly, or annual, right? So that we can talk about the measurement. So these are the four different categories that you can focus on while you create your dashboard, while you capture the data and you start capturing, defining the metrics. You also need to show it like efficiency. So there could be certain metrics falls under the efficiency that you want to show, and then effectiveness that you want to show, and the effort, obviously. So I've given an example of TA, but that could be for other domains as well, right? Comp and ben, employee engagement, learning development, depending upon, maybe there would be a separate person capturing all these sort of function. Maybe only one person is handling, maybe 2-3 people handling the different domain. So basis that if you keep all these things in mind and you start capturing the metrics in your dashboard, that will be really impactful for the business, right? Efficiency, effectiveness, effort, and then impact. So see, analytics are all about technicalities, right? So first thing, the common platform that we use at Excel, if you don't have any ERP, any SaaS-based platform, even if you don't know any BI tool, right? There are a lot of BI platforms are available, right? Power BI is there, Looker, then Tableau. We talk about other BI platforms, right? Even if you don't have the sound understanding, but with the Excel, you can do much, right? So the capability, I would like to highlight that. So descriptive analysis that you can do while you are capturing the basic metrics, right? So it could be like brief summary of the sample and the measure that you have done, basis that you can present the detailed report to the business. That will really help the business. So summarizing the data points, whatever you are capturing, and showing it to the business. And techniques could be, I've mentioned 2-3 techniques out here: the frequencies, means, and percentage, the variance cuts, right? That can be highlighted while you're doing the predictive analysis. I'm not getting into the detail because of we cannot cover it within 1 hour. Then operational metrics. So these are the metrics that really helps the HR function. So first thing I mentioned that SOPs, each and every function has SOPs. The defined processes are in place. So you start capturing. So I'll give you one example. Let's say for the TA, so there is a process that has been defined that before you take the HR on, or maybe before you push the candidate to the technical round, it has to go through the assessment, technical assessment, online assessment. But it consumes a lot of time because sometimes people don't take the test and they take 2-3 days, 4 days, a week's time to take the particular test. If it is a technical or maybe any sort of assessment that is happening in the organization, right? But if you skip it and then move to the next level, it means that is the process deviation. So that is, we do it internally, not only in like the TA function, but the other functions as well, right? So onboarding. So there is a process for the people who takes care of the onboarding, pre-onboarding, right? How much time it takes, right? What would be the SLA turnaround time? There are defined time, like within 3 days of the offer, the assessment, background checks, right? Whether that has been communicated to the employee or not. So this has to be captured, and that really helps the HR to run their operations smoothly, right? So variance and percentage ratios, these are something that we can capture. These are falls under the operational metrics. And then predictive. So Mr. Ghosh would talk more about the predictive analysis. So I'll not get into the detail. So historical data, HR data, then attrition forecasting, that really helps the business. Then compensation, the performance management data that we are capturing, and then we are defining the metrics and giving insight, right? So static model that we are using, the time series analysis and all that we are doing regression analysis, right? So that we can do. And then our capability, what we can do more with the data, with the HR analytics that we are capturing. So it has huge impact to the business, any business, to the leadership team, and how this is how you can create your visibility in the organization as well, right? So turnover modeling, if you're predicting the future turnover in a specific views, right, basis the reason that we are capturing, that basis these sort of reasons people are leaving, and what is the specific time period people are leaving the organization, post increment. So the team will be ready that, okay, fine, this is the employee life cycle, right? Maybe 1 year, 2 years, depending upon the business model, or 1.5 years. So each and every organization has an employee life cycle of 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years, 3 years. So the recruitment team will be ready, okay, fine, after increment, majority of the people, they put down the paper and they leave the organization. These are the reasons. So they'll be ready. So predicting future turnover, and they can ready with the pipeline of the relevant candidates, right? That really helps the business, right? And then retention. So finding out high risk of churn in future. As I said, that specific time, under a specific view, maybe under a specific manager, attrition rate is quite high. And we can focus on the retention for the high potential resources. So again, all the different domains, functions under the HR function, right? So we can capture, and this will help the business. And the risk management, that is one thing that is the capability of HR analytics, like profiling of the employees at risk of premature attrition or a low performance, right? So once we have people, and within 6 months, 7 months, the initial 2-3 months, they take time to understand the business model, the process, the technical staffs there in the organization. And then once they are done with that, they are actually getting into the production, right? And then we can easily identify all those, all these sort of high potential resources with the performance management system, whatever performance management system or a mechanism that is placed in your organization basis that. And accordingly, organization can plan maybe some bonuses that we can pay to the high potential, showing the growth path for the high potential in the organization, right? So all these sort of decisions will be taken by the management along with the HR. So these sort of data really helps the business. And then talent forecasting. So as I said in the beginning, like when we're covering this turnover modeling, right? So talent forecasting is like predicting hiring requirements. Each and every business, a company or an organization has a particular time wherein attrition, people keep on leaving the organization. This is how you can plan, right? So that sort of data. So when I said initially I was talking about attrition, so it doesn't mean only like showing 14% or increment or 10%. We also need to show that, okay, fine, which month, which month in a year, most of the people are leaving the organization. At what level, which experience bracket, at what salary level, and which role, under which manager, right? So basis that, it helps the business to predict the hiring requirements. And also not only to the business, but to the hiring team as well, to the HR team. So tools, these are the basic Excel. I'm not mentioned like our most of the tools, but Excel is basic that you can start with capturing the data, because that doesn't need that much of expertise. You start capturing the data. There are a lot of tutorials, video tutorials are available on online platform, be it YouTube or any learning platform. You can start learning, and then accordingly, you can start visualizing your data, start capturing the data, right? So, but you have to learn the Excel, right? It has got so many things to do. And believe me, you don't need to learn the other BI reporting tools when we talk about, we have to have the knowledge of Power BI or Tableau or Looker or any other BI platforms. Believe me, you don't need to do it. Within Excel, you can do so many things while you are showing the dashboard, we're creating the dashboard, you're capturing the data, you're doing some sort of analysis. So many functions are available within the Excel, right? So these are the things that we can do with our dashboards. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for listening to me. So if you have any questions, either you can ask me or maybe you can route it to gifts management.
Sir, there are some questions in our chat box. So with your permission, may I start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so first question is that as we are seeing the great resignation of 2021 period, how data analytics is helping the managers right now, and what solutions are currently being catered by People Solutions Department?
All right, so capturing the data, as I said, that capturing the exact reason of the resignation, right? You know, today's job market is open and market's volatile. People keep on moving from one organization to other organizations. So capturing all the data, what is the reason that people are leaving it, which organization they are joining in, what is the average increment that they received from various organizations, which competitor they are joining in, what are the roles, at which role, which level. As I said, that we need to capture the level, roles they are at writing, right? So all these sort of data really helps the business. When you start capturing all these details, so they will maybe, when it comes to retaining the high potential employees, right? Because as an organization, we cannot retain everyone, but obviously an organization always try to retain high potential resource who are there in the organization. So maybe they can come up with a joining bonus plan with the increment, immediate increment, or a promotion, because I know that most of the organizations, they're trying to retain their high potential. So if you start capturing the data like this and giving insight to the manager, that will really help the people. So it is not the work of only one person, but the people who are there working in the HR function, the person who is taking the exit interview, they stay interview. So better way would be like, while somebody is putting down the paper, obviously you need to reach out to the person, ask, rather than waiting for the exit interview at the last day, right?
Okay,
you need to reach out to the person. Yeah.
Okay, next question is from Professor Uma Gulati. She's asking how organizations analyze employee happiness through HR metrics, and what can be the parameters for the same?
All right, so happiness, it has got so many things. So as I said that we are here in our organization, we are using a platform to capture the happiness. So it throws questions around it, which is tagged against the happiness, right? Because when you talk about happiness, and if you go by the regular sort of ESAT survey, you won't be able to get the insight from what is happening in the organization, right? So even if you don't have the platform, but as I said, that you can create some sort of forms, and you can, on a regular interval, you can start throwing questions, sending surveys to the employees, framing the questions. So happiness could be in terms of their job satisfaction, right? Somebody is not satisfied in the organization, right? So question could be around the job satisfaction. Somebody is not happy because of the manager. There are positive, there could be some reasons, monetary benefits they're not getting, other benefits they're not getting from the organization. Maybe they are not getting promotion. They are not happy with the peers. So question needs to be framed against all these criteria, and then we can shoot out the survey. And then the data that we'll be getting. And obviously, when you start the survey, that should be objective. That should not be subjective. Right? Then only you can analyze the data. But going through each and every comment, obviously at the end, you can mention any comment, something like that, that will really help you. But we need to figure out, if you don't have any platform in your organization, obviously keeping in mind what all things, as a human, we are human, and we are triggered by all these sort of things, right? Happiness, family problem, professionally not growing, right? Problem with the manager. So that is how we can capture the happiness. So it has to categorizing the things. So let's say you are mapping, okay, what are the reasons people feel happy about something, right? Happiness, maybe because of the policy, because of the promotion, right? And then you can start constructing the questions and then throwing it, even if you don't have the platform, right? We do have a platform, so we do it like that. We don't send every time, we don't send the ESAT survey.
Okay, sir. So next question is from Sanjana Arora ma'am. She's asking which tool is popular in India, which is cost effective as well, apart from Excel.
Excel is quite cost effective, right? Popular, I would say Power BI is quite popular in India, because that is Microsoft product, right? And if you want to learn Power BI, you can learn with the demo login, right? I don't need the full access of Power BI. And having said that, if you're looking for any platform, because all these platforms are what they're doing, Power BI or Tableau or Looker, they're just creating the dashboard. It's a visualization platform, right? And that can be done within the Excel. Smart arts are there, smart graphics are there, right? And then it has got a lot of functionality. You start digging in within the Excel, you will find there are a lot of things to do. You don't need any other platform. You don't need other, as I said, that you don't need any additional technical knowledge in the beginning. Later on, if you're interested, because majority of the people in the business, in the industry, those who are in HR analytics role, they are technical. They are not HR people, right? They are technical people. So the other day when I was attending one seminar on HR analytics, the speakers who were there on that seminar, that web seminar, they were not from the HR fraternity, right? These people were from the operations background. They were technical. But when it comes to HR being technical, I said that Excel is very vast, right? If you start researching within the Excel, you'll find it quite easier, cost effective as well. You don't need additional license or subscription. The other platform might cost you much, right? That is within there in MS Office.
Okay, so thank you. One more question is there from Ms. Veena Rawat. She's asking that how can we evaluate whether the candidate is cultural fit, behavior fit, and value fit for the organization in short term?
All right. So you can frame certain questions. So we have done it. So initially we were asking questions around it from the organization perspective, that how the person is reacting. This is a situational based question that we ask initially we were doing it. Now we are taking the assessment. So with the help of third party vendor, basis the business requirement, what we started doing, that whatever questions we were asking, we're trying to capture. So that is, so we have converted into technical in an assessment with the third party vendor. And then we started capturing, like, somebody is culturally fit or not fit. So first you have to understand the culture of the organization, right? How you can assess somebody is not cultural fit, because these are, when we get the feedback from hiring manager, these are the vague feedback. He would not be culturally fit. And sometimes we get confused. Okay, fine, he would not be cultural fit. What does it mean, right? So looking at the culture there in the organization, the people, the business model, how they behave, the values that an organization carry, you can ask a situational based question to the candidate. That's how we were doing earlier. Now we are taking the help of the assessment that we have created and developed with the help of third party, right? So that you can do it, but you need to frame a question around it. Mostly situational based questions. You give the situation. I'll give you one example, a simple example. Let's say you have your organization's a free culture, right? People can reach out to any manager or a senior leadership team, right? So give that kind of some interviewing for a managerial role, a people manager role, and you can frame around the people management, team management questions. Give them a situation, what the person will do when the situation will come, how he will react, what will be his action on during that situation. And there is no right answer and wrong answer. So you cannot segregate basis. Okay, fine, this is the right answer. If you're doing it, it means it's a biasness. You just need to figure out the thought process of the person, whether the person is coming with a solutioning mindset or not, right? What is his thought about around that problem scenario that you have given, that you've asked. We are doing it in HR interviews as well. Sometimes, most of the time, I ask situational based questions to the organization because we also focus on the cultural fitment, value fitment in the organization. Because so when it comes to skills, we can train the person on skills, be it any technical skills. We can train on the process, business model. But when it comes to the culture, we cannot change the behavior of the person. So behavioral fitment, this is how you can assess. Start framing questions around the situation, particular situation. You can jot it down, right? And then go beyond like asking only what is a salary, what is a notice period and all, right? These are old fashioned way of taking interviews.
Okay, so thank you so much. It was a highly informative session, and I'm sure that our participants will certainly benefit from the expertise and the knowledge which you have shared with us today, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So in case, I guess tomorrow we also have a session. So if somebody, so mostly we have kept it for like question and answer. So you can send it across to GIFT's management team and then they can share it with me. So
Sure,
I would
sir.
like to address any specific questions they can ask me.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
So now we have Professor Anup Ghosh with us as our eminent speakers to take the session forward. Dr. Anup Ghosh is a seasoned HR professor currently working with Geeta Ratan International Business School. Professor Ghosh is a doctorate on human resource management from Center of Management Studies, Burdwan University, a state government university of Government of West Bengal. He also bagged his postgraduate degree from the same university. Dr. Ghosh has a vast industrial experience to work as management trainee to general manager level in different organizations, which includes both the public and private sectors. His academic career is also pretty long period of 15 years. Dr. Ghosh has presented his research papers in 38 conferences at national and international level. He also has published his research papers in different national and international reputed journals. He also has conducted several DST-funded projects. Very recently, one of his inventions was accepted by the Patent Authority, Government of India. We are privileged to have you here with us, sir. Now, I would like to request you to take the session forward.
Thank you, Monica. Good evening to all. I know that Saturday evening, there are many participants who have, after a hectic day of work, are now with us. In this particular MDP, basically our idea is, let we consider ourselves as a person of HR analytic person or a business analytic person. So when we see that a person is HR analytics, that means he must have some basic idea of analytics, how to deal with, and how he can make life better for others. I can start here from already Mr. Manish has explained in a very lucid manner. I just have sent you a message. Some data is there. Have you seen it? I asked a reply from any of my participants. Please open your microphone and please answer me that the figure as you received in chat, is it meaningful? Anyone can answer.
No, sir.
Shall I?
Yeah.
It is not meaningful because the number is displayed, but whose number is this, to which person it is associated, what is the use of this number, that is not displayed, so it is not meaningful.
Right, ma'am. We have today one international participant, Gisli. Gisli, can you hear me? Please unmute yourself and I want a single line from you. I think Gisli is not getting my voice, or maybe. So, when we have, I say, learn the management information system at the first time of computerization, it was given the thought that meaningful data is information. So until and unless we can consider a data to be meaningful, we cannot identify it for our purpose. And obviously, that used to make our life not comfortable. Basically, information is for our comfort, and data is for our miserableness in life. So with this, let me start. Basically, my point of view is HR analytics and what actually analytics is. Already Manish sir has informed. I'm just constructing that into a different definition, that analytics is the process of discovering, interpreting, and communicating significant patterns in data. If you see the left side, we are observing some pattern. And nowadays we are accustomed with all these patterns. Can anyone tell me any of the pattern is very much known to you? In the left side, the photograph, there are some patterns. Any of the pattern is very much known to you. Can anyone tell me? Let me ask Uma ma'am only. Uma ma'am, any of the figure, are you accustomed to it?
Let me, sir, 1 minute. Can you please repeat, sir?
In the left side, there is a photograph of the definition. And in that photograph, you can see different patterns. I say these are the symbol of different patterns. Any of these patterns is known to you?
Yes, sir. Patterns are known.
Yeah. Today patterns are known. Like there is a indication of a particular position in Google Map has been shown through a particular symbol, and you can see that symbol over here. If you can see, there is a bar diagram which we used to observe in different presentation. And gradually, we are accustomed with all these type of patterns because these patterns communicates us something which is meaningful. And analytics is that process which actually discover, which ultimately interpret, and obviously which communicate some significant patterns which are very close to our heart. The thing which are close to our heart, which is known to us only. If any unknown thing comes before you, it will create your palpitation, not a soothness. So quite simply, we can say analytics helps us to see insights and meaningfulness of a data that we generally might not otherwise detect. I'm coming back to that portion only which I have shared to you. The data I have given in the chat, once again, I am modifying it like this one. Now just you see. Once again, I have sent you all a data. Is it meaningful?
So may I?
Yeah. Yes, Bina.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir,
evening.
still I don't think so it's meaningful. The same reason which Uma ma'am has said earlier also. Just the thing is that 18 or 18 ratio 18, what represent we don't know. Like still we don't know what the exact meaning we can create out of these numbers.
But sir, I can have an idea.
Wait. Monica, wait. I know this. Just I am modifying it like this. Bina, is it now meaningful?
Yes, sir, it's meaningful now.
And if you see, when I have started, it was the today's date and time. But only the pattern we used to interpret in our way, I could not get in that fashion. That's why it was observed like a unknown thing. So what just I have done, I can say it is also an analytics. If I can put or interpret my data in such a meaningful way that is easily understandable to everyone, then it is data analytics. I can say this is the simplest way we can explain the data analytics. Anybody have any question? I ask here from in this particular point. If not, let me move forward into my next slide. Basically, data nowadays is a valuable part for any business. None of us can discard that a business can run without data. Whatever may be the field, whatever may be the domain, whether it is marketing, whether it is finance, whether it is HR, or whether it is production. If you do not have a properly interpreted data, your business strategies or decisions will be whimsical. For an example, while the human starts its journey, dates back, I say 5,000 years. They do not have any interpreted data that how much rain will come or when the rain will come. Only when they observe some thundering on the sky or there is some certain change in the environment, they start feeling that yes, very soon there will be a rain. But how much devastation will take place, they cannot identify or predict therefrom. But today, what are we doing? Even if I can also say the IMD, that is Indian, I say meteorological department, those who predict for our weather forecasting. They also could not give us a very, I say, informative session day by day, just 10 to 15 years back. Because that time, India do not have any satellite of its own to provide data to the IMD department. And as a result, their prediction was much more whimsical. Rather, I say it's a hearsay. Even if today also, we do not know when earthquake will come, because we do not have that type of predictive data analysis and a set of data. Still, we are going through identifying the type of data and its predictions. So basically, data and business are valuable insights on how to harness value from relevant data, because sometimes we feel that this is garbage, these data are garbage, and it is always comes to our mind that whether all the data have value. If it is at all, so what value does it have? And the fourth is, what's needed to transform data and then use it as an information. The organization which can have these insights in a higher level, they are ultimately the successful organization or lead organization in any industry, whatever be the domain, who have the better insight about these four things, they have the lead role. Now, if we see analytics, what actually analytics is? We already have written that analyzing data to get meaningful insight. But how? What is the process? So first one is to collecting data. The second one is processing the data. And third one, generating insights from the data. If you or your organization have the first one, that is bunch of, data, huge amounts of data, but neither it is being processed nor they can generate insight from it. They are nothing but making data garbaging. Whereas those who have a bunch of data, collecting the data in a proper manner and processing it also, but do not create insights from that. They are, good data handler, but not data analyzer. Now coming the third point, that is process the data and generate insights from it. That means they are the real level decision maker at every point of time. So that is why the analytics considers these three steps. Do you know that every day in this world we are generating 2.5 quintillion bytes of data? And out of this huge 2.5 quintillion, we hardly use 10 to 15% of it. Rest 85 to 90% still is in garbage. And using the 10 to 15%, we have made our life, in a process of heaven. Today, if you are passing through a shop, the shop can start displaying what you have searched yesterday in your any media app or purchase app. And while you are passing through one shopping mall, they are showing you that suppose you have searched one lipstick and 2-3 days ago you have searched one deo, and that particular shop is giving a pop-up on the outside while you are moving through the road aside by, that if you purchase today one deo, one lipstick is free. And this is nothing but the work of data analytics. Similarly, today you are thinking from HR point of view that I need a break. And the same thing you have shared with one of your very close friend at one media. And next day on the morning, you got a letter from one company. In some place, you admire that company, in some place, in some media. And you got a job offer there from, without making any application or anything. This is nothing but the support or supportive activity or insightful activity that the data analytics can nowadays are doing with full-fledged. Once again, I am coming back. If we see data and business, you see both the circle side by side. Data analytics helps us to answer what happened, why did it happen, what's happening now, and what will happen next. You can get these 4 answers with the help of proper data analytics. And business normally utilize it and they make contribution for efficient operation, satisfied customer, and obviously higher profit margin. So if you see both of these side by side, what are the, I say, output of one will ultimately be the input of the business. So output of data in a proper analytical form will ultimately help the business to make it the leader in the market. Up till now, anybody have any question? As I am sharing my full screen, I cannot see you or your chat. So if you have any question, you can make your microphone unmute and ask me the question. And if not, I can put forward it like the 4 phases of analytics. Already Manish sir has informed that analytics are of 4 types: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. To understand this one, I want to share with you a small video clip. Just a minute, please give me a time. I will share a video, small video clips.
Can be answered using descriptive analytics. In the area of workforce demographics and diversity, what is the average tenure of people in your organization? In the last 5 years, has it increased, decreased, or remained the same? In the area of workforce turnover and mobility, what is your average position tenure? What percentage of your workforce is promoted annually? What is the average time between promotions? In the area of workforce health and safety, what is the cost impact of short and long-term disability, absences and claims? In the area of workforce relations and satisfaction, what percentage of your employees are fully engaged and are doing their best work at all times? How does this vary across functions and lines of businesses? What percentage of your employees would say that they are committed to the organizations? How many of your employees have applied for positions outside the company in the past 6 months? In the area of workforce planning, where in the organization are your high performers concentrated? Where are they very few? In the area of staffing and recruitment, what percentage of critical roles are unfilled as of today? What percentage of your first choice candidates accept our offers? Which recruiting sources provide the highest performing employees? In the area of HR function, what percentage of all HR employees have work experience in a line of business? What percentage of HR programs actually achieve the ROI stated in their business cases or project proposals? What percentage of HR programs are discontinued every year for failing to achieve interim targets or meet expectations? Well, you can see the web link with the entire list of questions in the PDF available for you to download if you want. Moving on, descriptive analytics uses raw data to derive insights. It is quite possible that these findings may highlight that something is not right. However, it may not explain why, which is why companies move up in the maturity model and use other types of analytics in combination with descriptive. That brings us to the next part of the maturity model, which is diagnostic analytics. Well, we have already explained that descriptive analytics can provide a quantitative information of performance, but the mystery is why specific performance were good or bad. To understand why, we need to perform diagnostic analytics. In many cases, when there is a single root cause of the situation, diagnostic analytics can be quick and simple. You just need to find the root cause. But if no root cause is apparent, then you need to use diagnostic techniques to discover a causal relationships between two or more data sets. Well, we will explain them in details. A completely different perspective is to understand why a percentage of critical roles are unfilled as of today, why your high performers are at risk for departure, why your involuntary termination rate is so high. To find out why some critical roles are unfilled, we may conduct diagnostic analytics and try to find the root cause or causes. Diagnostic analytics may provide interesting insights, like, for example, the salary being offered for that particular position is much lesser than what other organizations are offering for the same profile with the same skill set. Correlation in job exit and employee satisfaction. Salary, percent salary hike, and number of projects is very high, which tells us that a high performer can have a higher flight risk if the adequate salary as per market standards, salary hike, work environment, satisfaction, and projects are not given or provided. Diagnostic analytics gives us in-depth insights into a particular problem. It uncovers the cause of events as revealed by descriptive data. Good news is that if you know the cause, you know where to primarily focus and address the problems. Well, the next part is about predictive analytics, which primarily means telling what is likely to happen. In the words of Ian Cook, who's Director of Product Management at workforce analytics company Visier, the majority of HR data till date has focused on reporting of transactional outcomes. For example, lots of HR groups report the percentage of people that had a performance review or who completed an engagement survey. This type of reporting relates to the process orientation of HR and, although interesting, does little to demonstrate the true value of the functions. In addition, the opportunities to add value through HR practices come more from stopping the wrong outcome from happening than from reporting on what has happened. For example, the cost of voluntary turnover has been established at approximately 1.5 times the annual base pay for salaried employees. That's from PwC. In order to achieve this type of savings, you need to know who will leave before they have left. This is where sophisticated algorithms that use historical data to determine the likelihood that someone will resign comes into play. There are a number of known actions that will prevent someone from leaving, like signing bonuses, formal agreements around career progression, and learning opportunities. However, the crucial part is knowing to whom you should offer these incentives. When it is possible to focus on the right population through powerful and validated statistical models, it leads to better outcomes for lower cost. Another place where prediction is becoming valuable and important for the companies is in relation to retirement. The pattern of behavior relating to retirement is changing with more and more people delaying retirement or shifting to contract or part-time work than ever before. Prediction here is important as often the people retiring are in key roles or hold key relations and are critical for the business to ensure continuity of performance. However, it is also challenging to keep a potential successor waiting if the incumbent chooses not to retire at the time expected. Instead of using the old indicators of age and tenure to estimate retirement behavior, modern analytics technology applies algorithms that take into account many additional factors such as recent changes in role, pay levels, rates of change in pay, and incentive eligibility to refine the prediction of who will retire. This allows companies using this type of analytic approach to be more successful and effective in managing the retirement cycle and ensuring that key roles have a successor ready at the right time. This is just a small sample of the value that companies are realizing from their use of workforce analytics and planning. Predictive analytics focuses on what might happen in the future based on details of past events. If you know what's going to happen, you can prepare for it in advance. Much like if you know that it's going to rain tomorrow, you can pack an umbrella in your briefcase tonight. Here where things get really powerful. Prescriptive analytics is dedicated to finding the most suitable course of action for a given situation. The purpose of prescriptive analytics is to prescribe action to be taken. Prescriptive analytics attempts to qualify and quantify the effect of a decision before it's made. It's not only an attempt to predict what will happen, but why it will happen. Prescriptive analytics can be valuable when it comes to workforce planning and workforce management. Recruiters are using prescriptive analytics in trying to understand what an ideal candidate profile should look like. Based on data gathered from the top performers in each role, it becomes simpler to identify the types of candidates who will also thrive in those positions. From there, recruiters will know from which pools to source, such as within specific geographic regions, professional organizations, or schools. Another example can be if a company knows that they have a 27-year-old who has been employed for just over 2 years, prescriptive analytics could be used to suggest the likelihood of that worker leaving within the next year or the likelihood of that person becoming a high performer in the future. The prescriptive analytics solutions could then notify the manager of these likelihoods and offer a series of predetermined actions based upon the employee's exact profile. Thus, the manager is presented with a data-driven guidance to help him or her understand the most viable next step to retain and develop a possibly high potential employee. Implementing and utilizing tools with prescriptive analytics can help companies gain a competitive edge in making critical workforce decisions. And prescriptive analytics also presents HR with a great avenue to move on from their traditional tactical role to provide the strategic guidance that organizations need in line with the total workforce management concept.
What you have got? What is the role now HR pupils are playing in an organization? This is the, I say, most sophisticated level organization nowadays plays, and while playing that, they have this type of sophisticated data analytics and the proper insights develops, which ultimately comes out as a prescriptive analytics. Now today, after learning this thing, that is the basic knowledge, why HR analytics is required. Now let us start with understanding some of the areas which are very basic. Already, I say Mr. Manish has explained that there are very high level softwares, supportive tools, and basically to drive those platforms, there are different engineers, rather data engineers, those who are developing different platforms and ultimately comes out it as a, I say, dashboard, Tableau, or whatever it is. But in a very small organization where suppose anyone may work and that organization do not have that type of capability to afford such a sophisticated tools or platforms, and even if they do not require, because they works in the, I say, lower level, if it is a MSME sector, but analytics is also required at their level too, and that is why MS Excel is one such tool which helps us a lot. I want to share you some example, and let me ask my participants that, do you know can you see this particular Excel file?
Yes, sir.
Who are they? Or how the first, I say, this one, how that has been converted into this one, the B column converted into C column, how it is being. Many of the time it is required in Excel. Do you know how to do this? Suppose you have got a data in a mix and match manner where, like Sanjana Arora, we have received in all cap mode. Dr. Daljit Rai Trehan, that we have received in a mode of proper sentence. But we need everything in a lowercase manner. In Excel, as it is not a normal work Microsoft Word-like software, you cannot modify it by click of a certain button. Do you know how to do this technique to modify one data into another data in all lowercase? Anyone? Do you have any idea how it is to be done? It is possible. I will show you how it is to be possible. But if you everybody don't know, I will skip this. How many of you do know? If you do know, please say yes. How to convert one, I say, word data, your name data, whatever you are observing, into the second column, C column, that is the lowercase. Do you know it?
No, sir.
Okay. So it is very simple. If you know, the particular command. How I am doing, I am just showing you. Like here, Sanjana Arora. So what I will do first, I will put a equals to, and then if I just start typing lower LOW, you can see the lower function is here. You just double click it, and if you click on FX button, another window is open. It will inform you the way, the logic behind this particular equation function. So here it very clearly written that you put the text and convert all letters in a text string to lowercase. So if I just click on this B2, you can see what is the original input of this B2, and when it comes to C2, what will be its output that is showing in the lower. Can everybody see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you put OK, you can see that the all cap is now becomes a normal all lowercase. And if you have to, I say you have a data of 30,000 or 40,000 like this one, you have received a database like this, application for a post, some 10,000 people has applied, and your data in Excel format comes like this one. So just you change one and then double click on this button, everything will be, all the data will be modified like this. Once again I repeat, first you should click on equals to, type LOW, up to that you can get lower. So it is basically the function name is lower, double click on it, then click on the text you require to modify, end with the second bracket and enter. Your job is over. Is it now clear to everyone how it is to be done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, the reverse is also required sometimes. I need each and everyone's name should be in uppercase so that I can apply this while we will use it my e-certificate. So I need everyone's name in uppercase. So how should I? So that I will show in this D column. You can see here everything is in uppercase. Just reverse of it, that here I put a click equals to and write UPP. The moment I type UPP, you can see upper is already showing over there. Just double click on it. If you require, you can take the help of FX. Put this C2 and click on OK. So all the lowercase thing will convert into upper. And in the same manner, if you double click, you got everything. Whatever be in the C column, all the data will be converted into uppercase of in the D column. Now, many of the time we are to create some employee number or some unique number or something randomization number. There are different process to give it. Even if you can see your PAN number, that is also a alphanumeric. Here I have shown a numeric. You can also modify to alphanumeric. And it is also very easy if you put a function which is called random. So if you put rand between, means randomness between upper level and lower level, within that number, all this data will be modified into a specific number. Tomorrow I will show you how alphanumeric number has been generated. Now I am coming to, I just hide C, D and E as our time is going short. That's why I am going fast. As an HR practitioner, suppose you have been given a data of 10,000 employees that according to performance appraisal of last year and this year, please rank the person who will get some certificate or some rewards, and some person or some people or some employees will be identified for corrective measures like training, development, or something like that. And you have been given a very short period of time. You cannot have the time to making short or something like that. So how you will do that? There are certain easy methods. But before doing this, you should have a particular, I say, button in your Excel. I will show you how to do it. Suppose here in the F column, I have seen the performance appraisal of 2020 and the score, it is between 0 to 25. Within that score, everybody have got their score. Don't think I have just make it in my own pseudo manner to showcase this one, so no one should bother that in myself sir has shown something low or something high like that. Okay, it is only for example. Now if you see, this is the performance appraisal result or score of year 2020, and this is the performance appraisal result of G column in the year 2021. Now how you can make it, I say, a ranking. Excel have a system. Can anyone tell me, do you know how to make a rank, make a percentile, that who is on the top, who is on the bottom? Can you do it very fast, quick? Anyone? At least one can answer.
No, sir, we don't know.
Okay. So the very first thing what we will do, we will create a difference. Difference of current year minus last year. So how we will do that? Equals to current year value minus last year value. And that is this one. Do it for everyone. So you got a difference. Now that tricks. You just click on here, any blank position, go to data, and you can see at the end there is a data analysis button. Can you see it? A data analysis button where I am just now
Yes,
putting,
sir.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you just click on it, it will show you this type of different activities. We here make it rank and percentile, and we just click OK. It will ask your input range. So I put all my difference column into this range, and output range is my output range is this one. That is where I want my first data, that is $I, $1, and then click OK. Your job is over. How much time you do require? to make a data of, I say 10,000, 10 lakhs, whatever it be. It took hardly 2 minutes maximum. If you know this trick, that out of this 10,000 people, who will be rewarded and who will be gone for training. Now, what actually it comes with? The first one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it again?
The process?
Yes, sir.
I will repeat once. First, you understand what actually they have done, and then once I will repeat the same thing to understand. Okay. First one is, this point means this particular person who is in the top, he is in the 10th position. So where is the 10th? 10th means, if you see this particular person, I am not taking the name. Why? Don't think it is the Jalesar. I know him very well. So it is only an indication. Mr. X. Okay. So Mr. X performance was 9 in the year 2020, and in 2021 it becomes 18. That the difference is 9, positive 9. That means his performance is the best among all in this particular year. So you can see that Mr. X, who is in the 10th position, got the first rank, and his difference is 9. Whereas the second position holder are of 2, that is 3 and 9. 3 means this person and 9 means this person. So their difference amount is 5, and that's why they comes into second position. So if you make a cutoff value, that what will be my reward level. So if you feel like this, above 60%, whoever be there, 60 to 70, we will give them one holiday free. 70 to 80%, they will get a gold chain along with foreign trip. And those above 80%, those who are there, they will get a special offer, special I say recognition or something like that, along with financial benefits. So it is very easy for you to make this cutoff over here, because already you got these figures, that these are the people who requires for all this. In the next session, I will also show you how you can make category, that who are in the 80 to 10, 100, who are in 60 to 80, who are in something like that. Now, those who are below 30, they will be given a training program for improvement. This is called development. So training program through that performance appraisal mechanism. So you can see how analytics help you to take a decision, being a HR manager, to the training and development manager, that who will be the next people for next year's training, and who are those person who got reward. So it is very easy for HR people to identify who will get the reward and how much reward, that is calculated over here. Once again, I am showing you the process. First, you make the difference. I think in difference column, you do not have any issue.
Yes, sir. No doubt in this.
Okay. Now you go in this. I delete this one. This will also come. You just put your cursor anywhere in this blank I column, and then just go to data. Click on data. Okay. At the last, there is data analysis. In the data analysis, there is rank and percentile. Click on it and click OK. The moment you click OK, one window will open up. It will ask you the input range based upon which it will calculate. So our range of calculation is based upon this different column, that difference column. So that are being selected here. And where you will want your output result, we may put it is I1 $1. Why $I? You know that it is the fixation of that particular cell. Now, if you click OK, is it okay? Or I am too fast?
Sir, it is okay.
Okay, so just click OK to come down to that. Already it has been made.
Yes, thank you, sir. Now it's clear.
Yeah. So I am just stop sharing this one. I know that some of you do not see data analysis this box in your system. If it is not there, what is the procedure that I am showing just for 2 minutes? You see how data analysis button can come to you. You just click on this office button and there is Excel option. It is in different place. I said different version, it is different. So there is an Excel option, as I am using some older version. In newer version, there is option in the left pane. So both are same. Click on the Excel option. One window will open. You have to click add-on, add-in. In the add-in, there are different tool pack and there is one analysis tool pack. You can see in my case, this analysis tool pack is active. If it is not, I am just disable it. I want to disable it. So if I say just now, if you see, as Excel is working in the behind, it is asking that please remove from the sharing. But now if you see, basically at this moment, it is like me, if you can see here, now in the data column, there is no data analysis button. Once again, I am running the system. I go into Excel option, click on add-in, go to analysis toolpack, and then in the lower level, there is a go button. You just click on it. It will opens like this. I will just check on the analysis toolpack and click on OK. The moment I do it, Excel will modify this in the background, and you can see the data analysis button is here. Is it clear to you? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
If you do not see the data analysis button, then do this process. You will get this. And I hope you enjoy these small tricks, how to make I say ranking in a very short phase. If you have at present any question, because already we are 10 minutes late from our schedule, but I say for learning sake, we can do up till this. So if you have anyone have any question, you can ask, or you can ask tomorrow.
No, sir. Right now, no question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. I'm sure the
Thank you,
participants
sir, for such a
have-
learning session. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
sir.
So tomorrow we will join at the same time. Yes, obviously, tomorrow also Mr. Manish will start the session, and at the end I will be there. By this time, I may share you some of the videos and some Excel files, so that tomorrow at the time of my presentation, if you want to work with myself at same space, you can utilize that data.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
So let me close today's session.
Sure, sir.